6 a.m. on the dot on this Monday. Sure hope you had a nice weekend. Stayed as dry as you could out there. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Netta Iranpour. Let's start off with your forecast, shall we? A few little areas of spritzes, I guess, over the weekend.
Yeah.
It was fun, though, to wake up Saturday morning. It was loud just for like a minute.
There were those moments.
Right. Yeah, there were some clouds that were fuller than others. It was just real spotty.
Yeah, there were some moments where you had to kind of listen up and be like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
is that what I think it is?
Right,
Is that
right,
the rain
yeah.
coming down? And it was. We still have some areas of moisture making their way through. They're really few and far between. You can see just kind of the little dots of green that pop up from San Francisco all the way down through the international border as we kick off your Monday morning, start of the new week here, involving a few remaining areas of moisture today. Going to be rather light, maybe a few hundredths of an inch out by the coast. And then it looks like by the afternoon we'll start to see those clouds break apart in some cases, especially by the water, but inland could pick up on those showers through the rest of the day. Vanessa Paz checking in on traffic on our Monday. Good morning.
Good morning. There are several icons on our maps here indicating that we have reports of some breakdowns as well as some crashes. So let's go ahead and start off with the latest. We have a crash that we're tracking in the South Bay. This is in Chula Vista on the 805 North, right before you hit Orange Avenue. Let's say if you're making your way from the Otay Mesa or San Ysidro area, that may slow things down for you. It says stop and go traffic is down to about Main Street, but I'm seeing steady speeds through that area. Meanwhile, we have another crash also near the South Bay. This one's as you make your way out of National City into Barrio Logan. It's right on the 5 North as you approach the Coronado Bridge, and it looks like all cars involved are moved to the right shoulder. In fact, as we give you a live look at that activity there, this is it, and this is that crash, as I mentioned, on the 5 as you approach the Coronado Bridge. So it's going to slow things down if you're making your way either towards Coronado or towards downtown San Diego this morning. So keep an eye out for that. Netta, back to you.
All right, Vanessa, thank you very much. In less than an hour, the U.S. Navy will block ships to and from Iran at the Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump announced the blockade after talks between the U.S. and Iran failed to result in a peace agreement. CBS News has learned key sticking points include Iran's refusal to give up its nuclear ambitions and plans to charge tolls for the waterway. Iran responded by threatening ports in the Middle East. Iran's parliamentary speaker also posted on social media, quote, soon you'll be nostalgic for $4 to $5 gas. Meantime, gas prices ticked down over the weekend. According to AAA, the average price in San Diego County now at $5.91 for a gallon. That's 3 cents lower than what we were paying Friday on average, but prices are still much higher than a month ago. A month ago, the average was about $5.45. Let's get now to this shakeup in the race for California governor. A Democratic frontrunner drops out, and the GOP convention wraps up in San Diego without endorsing a candidate.
We do have team coverage on this. News 8's Chris Grow tracking the Republican side, but we begin with Tori Apodaca. She has more on why Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell is suspending his campaign. Tori?
Yeah, good morning. It all stems from sexual assault allegations that Eric Swalwell has continually denied, saying that they are politically motivated. Still, he stepped down after a former staffer accused him of sexually assaulting her twice when she was too drunk to consent. CNN also reported that 3 other women have come forward with allegations of misconduct, including claims of inappropriate messages. Dozens of supporters and staffers immediately dropped their support of him, including the California Teachers Association and other labor unions that had endorsed him. House Democratic leaders on Friday called for Swalwell to immediately end his campaign. He is facing the possibility of an expulsion vote in the House over the allegations, a vote that could come as soon as midweek. Our political analyst and other politicians weighing in.
Sometimes even when they deny the allegations, it becomes a distraction. And perhaps more importantly, the question they ask themselves is, are they still a viable candidate? And if the answer is no, it's time to step back.
This is an important moment for the Democratic Party, for California, for the country to say that powerful people will not be allowed to get away with abusing their privilege and harming others.
So those alleged assaults of that staffer happened in both New York and in California, and that's why the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has announced that it is launching an investigation into all of these allegations. Of course, as we know, Swalwell was a frontrunner in this governor's race, so we'll have to see how everything shakes out from this. For now, reporting in San Diego, Tori Apodaca, News 8.
Meantime, the California Republican Party wrapped up its statewide endorsement convention here in San Diego without backing a candidate.
News 8's Chris Grow live in studio to explain what's expected now. Chris, out of the two candidates, right, for Republicans.
Yeah, with Democrats, they sort of had a similar story, right? But there were about 8 candidates then who were technically eligible for a party endorsement. But just like the Democrats, the candidates here with Republicans leave the party convention with no endorsement. However, again, should point out there are only 2 candidates. One of them, Steve Hilton, has the endorsement of the highest office holder in all of the land, of course, President Donald Trump. Still, that wasn't enough to sway delegates as they remained split. In fact, it was Riverside Sheriff Chad Bianco that took home slightly more of the vote. He edged out Hilton 49% to 44%. You did need 60% or more of the vote to get the party endorsement. We spoke with delegates, and we will hear from them at our 7 o'clock hour. But we also spoke to candidates, wanted to hear what they thought about leaving the convention without an endorsement. Here's what both men had to say.
I don't know if it was a lack of endorsement, it was a couldn't decide, and it's we're happy, and we're very confident we'll be occupying the governor's office in January.
But did you not come into the convention thinking you would secure the party endorsement, especially after the president's endorsement?
We thought that Chad Bianco had it in the bag. That's because he's an insider. He's been playing the inside game for a long time, and so we feel that we made some great progress here, and I'm the leading candidate for change.
Now, Republicans also said that they really want to focus on those down ballot races, especially this year as they aim to win more of those races in such a deep blue state. Eric Canetta.
All right, Chris, thank you for that.
Okay, let's check in with Evan this morning. The skies are pretty nice out there.
They're looking good.
I
Yeah,
like
we're watching
it.
as those clouds kind of break apart a little bit now. You can see what it looks like outside right now. This is a pretty similar look to what we saw over the entirety of the weekend, because over the weekend what we saw was that those clouds kind of rolled in. They were a little ominous at times. You could kind of look down, to the east or west and notice kind of billowing gray clouds, whereas you were under partly cloudy skies. So it was a little tough to gauge how the weekend was going to play out. It ended up coming in line with just about what we expected, which was scattered showers at times. But for the most part, we stayed dry, partly cloudy conditions, cooler temperatures, and a steady stream of wind over the course of the weekend. 65 for this afternoon out by the coast and inland. Take a look at the additional rain totals we're expecting. About 1/10 of an inch in Del Mar. Most other spots along the coastline are not expecting up to 1/10 of an inch. They might stay in just a few hundredths of an inch range. Might not even see much picking up in terms of additional accumulations today. Poway, Ramona, Alpine, they're looking at about an extra 1/10 of an inch. And then by the end of the day today, that storm has exited to the east, and we're off to a dry remainder of the week from not only Tuesday through Thursday, but especially into the weekend. That chance for rain really does subside. Here's another live look outside. Sunrise is in about 15 minutes, but looks like in many spots will be rather socked in. So that marine layer is definitely on hand, but we already have some breaks in those clouds. So very similar forecast to what we saw over the weekend. We're going to warm up as this upcoming weekend comes around. The reason why is because another ridge of high pressure will start to build in place. Given Saturday, the warmest temperatures, about 10 degrees above average. But in the meantime, after today, which is the coolest day of the week, will be right around that normal range. From about Tuesday through Friday, looks like temperatures will be in the 70s across our inland valleys, upper 60s, some low 70s as we look along the coast. It is 6:09 right now. Vanessa Paz checking in on traffic. How's it looking?
It's looking mighty fine out there. In fact, we have Chopper 8 up in the sky, flying over what looks to be the 125, I believe Carla, our producer, said. 125 south, is that correct? Yes, okay, so they're over the 125. You could actually see the northbound lanes on the left side of your screen, and things are rolling pretty smooth this Monday. Let's go ahead and talk about where it's not so smooth. This is the 5 in both directions. This is at northbound drive as you make your way towards 28th, headed towards the Coronado Bridge into downtown San Diego. We had an earlier crash. It was stuck on the right shoulder. It looks like that crash has cleared, and so has the slowing, so that's good news. We're still tracking this crash in the center divide. This is in Chula Vista on the 805 North before you hit Orange Avenue. It says it's causing stop-and-go traffic down to Main Street, but I'm seeing mostly steady speeds on the 805 coming in from San Ysidro in the Otay Mesa area. And then we're also tracking this, a breakdown. It looks like we have a stalled car on the 94 East right at the 125 split. So as you make your way out of Lemon Grove or maybe the Spring Valley area, La Presa headed westbound, you may encounter a little bit of slowing. Even though the breakdown is on the eastbound end, it could cause some brake tapping for the westbound drivers as well. This is the 15, so here's another live look outside. This is the 15 in both directions right at Poway Road. Right side of your screen is the drive as folks leave Poway headed towards the 163 connector. And let's go ahead and pull up those travel times because they're looking really nice this morning, anywhere between 10 to 15 as you head northbound on the 5 and the 805. Full span of the Coronado Bridge, about a 5-minute ride. And then here's what it looks like if you're headed in from the East County West. This is what we like to see. So Monday light for the most part, 3 to 7 minutes for you. And then here's what it looks like if you're headed in from the North County southbound in from Oceanside and Escondido. Not too shabby whatsoever, about 10 to 11 minutes headed south on the 5 and the 15. It is 6:11. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times for ya. Look at that. We're tracking about an hour drive coming in from San Ysidro's port of entry. A little less than that. Not much of a difference, though, if you're traveling across from Otay Mesa this morning.